Okay, I've created this video to help you go through slide 10 about number lines and fractions. Okay, for that very first one, it's asking us to first draw a model. We want to draw a model in this rectangle to represent 3/4. My denominator tells me that I need to divide this rectangle up into 4 parts. Try to make those parts as even as possible. My numerator is a 3. That tells me to shade in 3 of those 4 parts. Now this model represents 3/4. Next, I'm going to look at my number line. I notice it's between the numbers 0 and 1. 3/4 is a proper fraction, and I can also see from the model that it is less than 1 whole, but it is more than 0. I'm going to look at my number line and notice that it's broken up into the same amount of places as my model. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can label this as 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and then of course 1 whole would mean that I have 4 out of 4, or 4/4. My denominators are all 4s because that is what my denominator is in my fraction. Again, that tells me how many places or how many parts I need to break up my model or my number line. Now I can see where 3/4 is. 1, 2, 3. 3/4. So I'm going to put a dot there or plot that point at 3/4. Next one asks for you to move the fraction to plot them on the number line. I've given this model here to you for you to help you see what 3 out of 8 looks like, or 5 out of 8. Now we're going to notice that there's this fraction here that's different than all the others. It has a 2 in the denominator. All the other fractions have an 8. So use that model to help you find out where that goes on your number line. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at my denominator. My denominator is an 8. That tells me that I need to partition or break up this number line into 8 equal sections, just like my model is broken up into 8 equal parts. I see that my number line is labeled between 0 and 1. Remember, if a numerator and a denominator are the same, that means that I have 8 out of 8 parts, or 1 whole. If I were to shade in this circle, and I had to shade in all 8 parts of these 8 available spaces, I would have shaded in the whole circle, 1 whole circle. Next, I can look at my numerators. Okay. And I can just count. I know that 1 is first. There would be a 2 8s, then a 3 8s, then a 4 8s, 5, then a 6 8s, and a 7 8s, and then finally our 8 8s. Notice I have these fractions spaced out as even as possible. So I'm going to just kind of write these in to show you where these other points on our number line would go. Okay, but what about that 1/2? Okay, well, let's take a look at this fraction circle here. If I were to shade in half of this circle, what is it equivalent to? What is it the same as? Well, half of that circle is the same thing as 4 out of 8 parts. So 1/2 and 4/8 are the same amount. We call those equivalent. The next one asks us to determine the fractions on the points A, B, C, and D using that number line. Well, first of all, we're working with fractions. So what's my denominator? Well, remember, like our other examples, our number line has to be cut up into an equal amount of places. So if I count my marks on my number line, starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is my denominator. Okay. Remember that that 1 represents 1 whole, which would be 12 over 12. Now I can go back and label my number line. This would be 1/12, 2/12, 3/12, 4/12, 5/12, 6/12, 7/12, 8/12, and 9/12. Now I can see which fraction is at each point. So again, my first step was to find out my denominator, how many parts that number line was evenly cut up into. And then for my numerator, I just count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So for point A, I can see that the fraction at point A is 4 over 12. B is 9 over 12. C, 7/12. And D, 6/12. The next two were more of a challenge. They were a little tricky because we were working with an improper fraction. Whenever we have an improper fraction, that means that it's going to be more than 1 whole. Okay? So if we need to draw a model here, let's do that. Let's just say that I drew 2 rectangles. I'm going to try to make them as same as possible, as even as possible, using these classic tools. Okay, I've broken them up into 3 because my denominator is a 3, but I have 6 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the first way you can solve for this is by turning the improper fraction into a mixed number. The second thing that I can do is know that this improper fraction is going to be more than 1 whole. My number line starts at 0. Okay, excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and label this 1 and make this 0.2 wholes. My denominator is a 3, so I can begin by cutting this into thirds. 1, 2, 3. This would represent 1/3, 2/3, and of course 1 whole is the same as 3/3. My next portion, I'm going to cut again into thirds. Okay. This would be 4/3, 5/3, and then of course 2 wholes. So we have 6/3. Okay, and there we are. There's our 6/3, which is equal to 2 wholes. So I'm going to draw a point at that number line. So 6/3 on the number line is equal to 2 wholes. For the very last one, it was asking us to use the number line to help us solve. An apple weighs 3/5 of a pound. If a pineapple weighs 4 times as much as the apple, then which statement is true? All right, friends, remember, what does this times as much mean? It means that we are multiplying 4 times as much as the apple. The first step here is to solve 4 times 3/5. Remember that I can put my whole number over a 1, or remember to multiply the whole number and the numerator. 4 times 3, my denominator stays the same. 4 times 3 is 12. My denominator stays the same. There's an improper fraction. Again, I know that my improper fraction is going to be more than 1. So I can automatically eliminate choice A because I know that it's not going to be between 0 and 1 because an improper fraction is more than 1. So use the example we did for 6/3 up here. Create your number line and then decide which two numbers does 12/5 fall. Okay. Is it between the whole numbers 1 and 2, 2 and 3, or 3 and 4?